Ahoy hoy everybody out in YouTube land, it's the Lazy-Eyed Modeler here again with I guess a Friday night update. I don't know whether to call this Toss the Sprue 25 or Toss the Sprue 24 2.0. Pardon me, mainly because I'm going to try to be covering the stuff that I missed earlier in the week when I did Toss the Sprue 24, because I was trying to do it quickly. Still ended up being 15 minutes. And I missed a bunch of stuff that I wanted to mention, so maybe I'll just go with Toss the Sprue 24 2.0. The one thing I feel bad that I missed, and it was very important to me last week, and that was that I did meet Wayne Osborne in person. We met at Tim Hortons and had tea and coffee, and I kept worrying that we were going to get thrown out because it's supposed to be a 20-minute limit, and 2 hours and 45 minutes later we were still there. But Wayne, it was great to meet you in person. I really enjoyed the afternoon chatting and swapping stories about models and one-to-one cars and work and everything else. I really enjoyed it, and I can't believe I forgot to mention it during the last Toss the Sprue, but like I say, I was just going through stuff and I missed stuff left, right, and center, partially because I didn't make notes. So tonight I have at least bullet points here, so I don't miss as much. So that was a great thing. I really enjoyed that last week, and I hope we get to do that again, Wayne. Since we're relatively close in geography as far as that goes, so I hope to do it again. The other thing I forgot to mention, I had mentioned the Group 25 Brands Hatch flea market, but the other thing that happened last weekend, which had happened by the time I made the Toss the Sprue 24 number 24 video, was Heritage Con in Hamilton, Ontario. Now normally I would go to this show. I've been going the last 4 or 5 years, I guess. It's a great show at the Warplane Heritage Museum in Hamilton, Ontario. But we are taking on this big trip at the end of April, and I figured something has to give, so after being silly buying t-shirts and stuff, I just felt like I wasn't going to pay for the gas and the at least one meal and admission and whatever else came up going to that show. So it's a conscious decision not to go. So I don't have any coverage from it, but there is a member from the Toronto IPMS group. IPMS Toronto Barbican is the name he uses on YouTube. I'm going to provide a link down below, so check that out. His videos, I think, over half an hour. I haven't watched it yet, but he usually does great show coverage and whatnot. So if you're sitting around with a cup of coffee, or if you want to have it while you're working on the bench or something, I encourage you to check it out. I understand maybe the car categories weren't as well represented, but if you love models, there's all kinds of stuff there, military, planes, cars, sci-fi, whatever. So you might want to check that out. That's one of the things I forgot last week. I mentioned quickly showed my little jig thing there, or at least I tried to explain it in the first Toss the Sprue number 24. I forgot that I had filmed little like 10-second clips of what I was doing. So I'm going to insert them here just so you can have a better idea of what I was trying to do, or what I managed to do with to build the bed of the little Suzuki or Subaru pickup. So I'll insert that here. Okay, the other thing I wanted to mention is when I was saying about the Subaru pickup is I tend to be Mr. Dithers. I've thought of changing the channel name to Mr. Dithers Model Works or something, because I dithered around with the cab on that so long trying to figure out how to go about it. I mean, I still haven't totally decided. George mentioned just, build the whole thing and mask off the windows with liquid mask and paint it that way. That might be the way I have to go. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. For the time being, I'm putting it aside to try to work on the A's and T's that I want to work on for Salt Lake. I mean, I've got to get them done. That's coming up like warp speed. So, but yeah, sometimes and even the Model A's and T's, I've been working on them for a while, and it's mainly, well, do I use this chassis or that chassis? Do I use this or do I use that? And blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But I got the shirts now, so I'm sticking with the Woody Workshop and the Lazy Eye Mauler. But I swear I could change it to Mr. Dithers. And now for new stuff, I wanted to thanks Pappy, Fred Henry for the shout out on my coverage of the Motorama in Mississauga, Ontario. I did 2 videos of the cars that were at that show. And he gave me a shout out in his What's on the Bench Thursday, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And then a couple other things. Now, I mentioned that I'm going to get in on the Camaro build, even though I'm not going to Atlanta this year. I intend to get in on the Camaro build. So that's one community build that's going on. And then I just want to do a teaser for the Classic 101 tribute build, and this is not an official announcement. It's just a teaser because I have to determine if I can find everything, because I'm going to be rebuilding something, and if I can get back far enough, I should try to take a picture maybe. But if anybody can, I don't know if any of you older guys will recognize this, and I've got my hand where I have it for a reason, but there's a major component missing from this. And so this would be actually, if I go ahead and do this for the Classic Plastic 101 tribute build, it would be actually a rebuild. And this is a rebuild from something that was that I built as many years ago, like in the 60s. As you can tell, it was just put together. It's never painted, so it would have to be disassembled, and it needs a major wash. It's got years and years of grime on it, and lots of seams and stuff. So it would be quite the undertaking. But that's kind of what I'm playing with the idea for the Classic Plastic 101 tribute build. I will make an official announcement. Come the time. I won't be trying either of these builds or much else from now till after May 5th roughly, and then we'll decide from there whether that's what we want to do. And the other thing I wanted to mention is I also have a nice new drinking mug, and thanks to those involved with that, that'll come clearer later. Since my last video, I've only received one more card, and that was from the dog, the Atomic Dog. Thanks, Brian, I appreciate it. It's a cool card, and on the back side he has some of his builds and whatnot. I think that's a really cool card. I'll get around. I haven't responded to all the comments on the last 2 or 3 videos. I'll be getting around to that. I'll be working on that tonight, so if you haven't heard from me, you will be. And I think that's it for now. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll talk to you later. Alright, bye now.